Welcome to the Veterans Impact Show, where our commitment is to help, hope, and healing of our veteran family and our nation. I'm Jim Blythe, a U.S. Navy veteran and a certified senior advisor. Join us as we continue the mission of leadership and commitment to our communities and our great country. Why, you never know where we're going to go or who you're going to meet. We invite you to join in, plug in, and share in what we do. This is your Veterans Impact Show. Hey, welcome aboard. What a great day we've got. I got to tell you, it is a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous start to a great month. Today is the first business day of June, and I've got some really, really great business to talk to you about. So first of all, I'm going to introduce some great people. I got to tell you, I've known Wanda Cox now, I guess about a year to 2 years. She is the chairwoman, I say that, of Airpower Foundation. This is a huge foundation in Fort Worth that was started a number of years ago. We'll get into that. And Melissa Dabi. Did I get that right?
No, Dabi.
Dabi? Did I get that right, Melissa?
It's Dabi.
Dabi. Okay. Abu Dhabi. She is the executive director. And I got to tell you, this is exciting for me because Airpower Foundation puts on, in my opinion, the best and probably the biggest veterans event every year here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It's amazing what they do in the veterans community. This is a prototype that other communities ought to take a look at and say, this is what we want to do in our community. So, Wanda, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background. And then please tell us, Miss Dabi, see, I told you, a little bit about your background and what you both do, please.
Well, thank you, Jim, for having us today. It's quite an honor to be on your show again. And I feel like we've known each other a lot longer than just a year or two, but it's just always a pleasure to be with you. My name is Wanda Cox. I'm the chairman of the Airpower Foundation. I've been with the Airpower Foundation for 18 years now. I fell in love with their mission at Skyball, actually. So Skyball changes people's lives. It is a wonderful event. It's always been the premier fundraiser that allows Airpower Foundation to raise the funds needed to support veterans programs, active duty military reserve programs that we support. So it's grown since then into multiple different things that we do throughout the year. And Melissa's been a big key in that as the executive director. So I introduced Melissa here.
Hi, everyone. Jim, thank you again for having us. It really is an honor to be able to come and share more about Airpower. So we really appreciate this opportunity. Again, my name is Melissa Dabi, and I'm the executive director for the Airpower Foundation. I have about 20 plus years in the nonprofit sector, worked all over the country and all over several parts of the world. So it was just a real honor to join the Airpower Foundation. I guess you and I started talking in about September, and then I officially came on board in October. I just fell in love with the passion and the mission that the Airpower Foundation has that really looks at each individual challenge and issue of a veteran and an active duty or guard, and they find the right solutions. And they're just so passionate and committed to making a difference for our veterans.
It is a fantastic organization. I fell in love with it when I went to my first Skyball, and I don't remember how many years ago that was. And I've been to most of them since. Matter of fact, one Skyball, Wanda, you guys had the Beach Boys. And that
crowd favorite.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So it's a great entertainment, but it's huge. You used to have it in a hangar out at DFW Airport. Now you're in Globe Life Park. But that's your primary
home of the Rangers.
Yeah, primary fundraiser, but there's so many other things that you guys do as well. So one of the things, you're going to be doing a series of events that are fundraisers, and then you say, hey, if you want to organize a fundraiser, we'll go alongside you. So let's talk about one that's coming up here right now, June the 1st. What you're doing with that Walk 22. That's an event that is really great because it's all about suicide prevention.
Yeah. So I'm going to let Melissa talk about that. That is her baby and brainchild. And the launch party was yesterday. And I couldn't be more proud of her and her team that put together just a wonderful event that will take us through the whole month of June.
How fun. Now, Melissa, where did you get the idea for this?
Well, as started spending more time with veterans and listening to their stories and hearing stories of the people that they serve with, of them battling these challenges that they have and mentally, and just really integrating back into civilian life, and then hearing the stories of people that took their life because they just couldn't find the right help or the right support to help them heal. And honestly, it just broke my heart. And it just was something I believe that God just gave me a burden for. And I mentioned to Cameron McNutt, who is our marketing director, and Ian Shelley, who is an advisor to our board. I said, I have this little idea. I think I want to do a little walk to, influence my sphere of influence, my friends, so they can become more aware of what's happening and maybe get some communities involved. And all of a sudden it just kind of skyrocketed, exploded. And I mean, it is an incredible movement that is happening right now. We had our launch party yesterday at Rhinestone Saloon. We had close to 140, 150 people there.
Yes.
Our goal is to raise $20,000 because we want to give away 2 service dogs. We've already made half of our goal, and we just started yesterday.
Wow.
So yeah, we're really excited about that. And we want to, number one, the most important thing is to bring awareness. This is a hard topic. People don't like to talk about it. We keep it kind of pushed to the side, kind of keep it in the dark because it's hard and nobody really knows what to say, how to say it, what questions to ask. So we want to bring the tools. We want to bring the stories to the front so that we make it okay to talk about. We want our veterans reaching out to our other veterans and asking those questions. Are you okay? What do you need? We had one of our, she's one of our supporters actually, and one of our volunteers. Yeah, one of our ambassadors. She shared her story, and it is heartbreaking to know that this happens to people that have signed up to protect my freedom, all of our freedom. We don't even know these incredible heroes that serve our country and give their life for us. And, now it's just time for us to get back to them.
This is one of the most important things because you're talking about your Walk 22. That's because the VA healthcare system says we have about 22 veterans a day that are committing suicide. Let's go a step further because this is not just about veterans, ladies. We have an epidemic of suicide in this nation. I'm sorry my co-host Cedric White could not be here. He's out in California right now. But he could tell you as a pastor, there was a suicide of an 8-year-old. An 8-year-old. So this is an epidemic in the nation. So as you are bringing awareness to this, you're bringing that awareness not just to veterans, but also to our nation as a whole. And that's very, very, very important. And I think it's also important that we've got to do more. And I like your idea of a community thing. I got to tell you, I've been to pallbearer 3 times at suicides. And it's a gut-wrenching situation that you don't know what to say. You don't know what to do. One of them was total shock and surprise. The other 2, we knew something bad was going to happen and we were trying to do everything we could. But once it gets to a certain point, we couldn't stop it at that time. And I didn't know. So I joined the Military Peer Network. That's to tell you how much I support what you're doing because I've seen it. I've lived through it. I've seen what it does to families. When you think, well, that person, the pain's over, they're gone. The pain to the family is horrific. And the statistics of children who commit suicide and even spouses who start having problems commit suicide is astronomical. So what you're doing is incredible, and it's all month long. So you don't have to be, this Sunday doing a walk. You can be it. Now, how do you go about doing that? Explain how you do that.
Yeah. So first off, you have to register to walk, and you can do that by going to our website, and that's airpowerfoundation.org, and it just join the walk. And once you register, it's kind of, you have your own fundraiser page, and we're encouraging everybody to raise funds as they walk their 22 miles throughout the month of June. So they have all month long to set a goal and to raise funds and raise awareness. And I mean, like I said, the response has really been humbling and encouraging to see how the community has rallied, how other organizations are wrapping around us and bringing this to the front. Because honestly, it's not just my problem, an Airpower problem. It touches all of us. It touches all of our communities. It touches our nation, and we all need to rally together to make the biggest impact and biggest change.
One of the things you'll find with my programs, I put out the message all the time. Veterans lead the way. So right now with this epidemic of suicide in our nation, it's focused on us because we were veterans, we were in combat, and everybody goes, oh my God, da, da, da. Hey, just driving on the freeways, and I'm not joking, raises anxiety. And a lot of times that I didn't know till I started doing some work with some medical providers, that when you go through high anxiety, when you go through stressful things, when you go through automobile accidents, just like combat, and our police officers, I'm doing a lot of work. Matter of fact, I'm good friends with Sheriff Bill Wayburn, and we're doing some work with Bill Wayburn. And this is amazing when we're talking about what happens to our first responders. You know, mm-hmm. They face that battle every day. And every time they walk up to a strange car, they don't know what's going to happen.
Yep.
Matter of fact, I had a guy that I brought into my home that I tried to talk down off the ceiling, and we helped some. We got him down to a domiciliary down in Temple, and we got him some equipment to help him. He had been the squad leader of a squad in Afghanistan, and 3 of them survived out of the squad. The rest of them were killed in a major attack. When the 3 of them came back, the other 2 committed suicide. He lost his entire squad over a short period of time. Can you imagine the trauma he's got? So I'm trying to be a mentor and help him, and we got him in to be able. He's great now. He's doing fantastic. Wonderful. We've got to do that as much as possible. So I applaud that. Again, you can go to airpowerfoundation.org. I did it. I looked it up, and there's a way that you can sign up to do your 20. Now, can you do 22 miles instead of walking? Could you do it on a recumbent bike?
Sure. You can do it anyway.
Hey, I'm in.
You can do it any way you want.
I'm in. I can't walk very well because I got a bad knee, but boy, I can tear up a recumbent bike, let me tell you. And that's really great.
One thing I would like to mention, Jim, if I may, is
Please.
That it's not just that veteran, it's that veteran and their family. So because sometimes the children need some support and counseling, and so do the spouses. So it's not just that veteran, it's the military and their families is what I love about what we do.
One of the things, Wanda, and this goes back, you guys used to be the biggest supporter of Snowball Express, and that went to the Gary Sinise Foundation down in Orlando. But I got to tell you, we filmed that, we videoed that, and I participated a bunch of times. Matter of fact, one of the American Airlines pilots that was involved in that, Jim Palmersheim, and I became very good friends. And I went with him on Nashville to pick up the kids and bring them back to Dallas for Snowball Express. You guys were huge supporters of that. And I guess that's where I began to really understand more about what you did and what you did for children there. So I know that when you talk about family, you have a great deal of experience in supporting organizations that support children. I mean, that's critical.
The Gold Star family work that we do, again, we support, and I like to say this, from the very beginning of someone's journey, through oath enlistment ceremonies, scholarship opportunities for junior ROTCs, all the way through to their veteran transition, to where that's job transitions, helping finding them programs to help them with that, or finding them some counseling, or working with Taya Cowles Foundation is wonderful. They help with marriages, right? Marriage is another thing in our military community that, struggles. It's got a high divorce rate. So keeping those families intact through the counseling services that are out there is important to make sure that that family unit stays that family unit for those kids too. And again, that suicide rate is directly impacted by finances, by relationships, by all sorts of stuff that we can help with.
Absolutely. I'm sorry my co-host couldn't join us today. He's out in Lake Tahoe right now. But he and his wife are marriage counselors, and they're the best I've ever seen. They work alongside marriage management, and they've been all over the world counseling veterans. He's a Navy veteran as well, and his wife was married to an Air Force veteran. So, we're okay there, right?
Yes. Air Force wife. Just saying.
Yes, that's right. But that is so huge. And we used to joke, and it's not a very funny joke. Hey, if the Navy wanted you to be married, they'd have issued you a wife. And when you say it's difficult on marriage, absolutely. Also, Cedric and I, he participates, and we participated last year. We're going to participate this year with Johnny and Friends, Johnny Erickson Tata, which does a disabled veterans deal down in Navasota, Texas. So these are the kinds of things you guys are all involved with. I got to tell you, that's huge. It's not just one thing that you're doing, but you're out in all of these things helping to support and helping veterans. So I tell you what, we're going to take a break. I have a special thank you for DBTV Network that puts us on Amazon Fire and Roku and AUN. A special thank you to Fairway Independent Mortgage, my company. My NMLS number is 311-548-2289 is the corporate one, and now the attorneys can leave us alone. We do a lot. We are a nationwide lending company, the largest non-bank mortgage company in the United States. We also give away service dogs. We are American Warrior Initiative, and we've given up well over $1 million in service dogs, well over 400 service dogs. We do a lot in the service community. So that's Fairway Independent Mortgage. Also, Symbios Integrative Health. And Wanda, I'm going to be introducing you to Symbios as well as Healing Thine Hearts Ministry. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and thanks to our great sponsors, Fairway Independent Mortgage, Healing Thine Hearts Ministry, and Symbios Integrative Health. Now, let's get back to this conversation. Hey, we're talking with Wanda Cox and Melissa Dabi. Thank you. My wife's right over here saying, do it right. That every time I have had that problem with somebody's name, I get all these phone calls saying, well, you couldn't say her name, but I'll never forget it now. So
good.
bring. Hey, we talked about the 22 walk, and I think that is wonderful and part of the community. We're going to join in and do that. But what we need to do maybe is do a live remote. If you do another event that's part of that, sort of here's the beginning and here's the end. Because I think this is something that really needs to be out there. Now, another thing you do is Patriot Roundup. Wanda, I ran into Bill Wayburn last year at Patriot Roundup, and we're helping him out. That is an amazing opportunity, not only to network, but tell us a little bit about Patriot Roundup, please.
Well, this is our second year to have the Patriot Roundup. The goal with this wonderful event that takes place right in my favorite place is the Stockyards right here in Fort Worth at the Cowtown Coliseum, is to really focus in on our history and culture in Fort Worth, educate the community out there. Melissa's working directly with the team on this. Kevin Fallon is the director of the program, and some other wonderful folks that are working really hard to get everything worked out very nicely. But I'll let her talk about it because it's a wonderful event that's shaping up.
Tell us about it, Melissa.
Yeah, we're so thrilled about it this year because we, again, it's going to be at the Cowtown Coliseum at the historic Stockyards on July 31st. So you can still go buy tables. We still have some left. It's going to be a great event because we are going to be celebrating celebrating the Native Americans and the role that they played in our wars. We're so thrilled. We have Choctaw and Cherokee. We also have some Native dancers coming, and they're going to do their war dances and their songs. So they're really going to have an opportunity to educate us and share with us their history and their culture, which is just fabulous. And I couldn't be more excited about, what's going to happen that night. We also have Moses Brings Plenty. He's going to be our speaker for that night. And if you don't know him, he's been on Yellowstone a few times, and he's going to come share a little bit, along with a couple other individuals who are going to share about how their great grandfathers were code talkers back in the war. So really looking forward to this event.
Oh, that's exciting. Hey, save us a seat. We're buying in. I'm small part Cherokee. Many years ago, I was in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, and saw a copy of the Cherokee Rolls. And I had heard about a great grandmother that was Cherokee. And there is the family name, the Blythe name all over it. We are part Cherokee. And then quite a few years ago, I got involved with a guy here in Dallas that was a Lakota Sioux, and he did the American Indian Art Festival. And I was facilitator for that festival for 2 years. And I met some of the most fabulous Native American Indians at a juried art festival. Matter of fact, I have a bracelet that I love to wear. And it's just so amazing, the history, the various things, all of the trials and tribulations that they went through. And I don't think that way back in the 1800s, we really understood what we lost when the Indian nations were decimated. But I love it, and I am a big proponent of fry bread tacos. I'm telling you, if you have those, I am all in. So
We might have to add those to the barbecue. That's right.
Well, we have Choctaw has a 25-member color guard, and they're going to present the colors for us that night. So that's going to be really exciting. And we're also tying in the Walk 22 into Patriot Roundup because the money that we raise through this month of June, we're going to provide the service dogs at that event.
Oh, I want to be there. I want to be there. I need to plug you ladies in with Louise Thaxton of my company, who does basically the American Warrior Initiative and gives away the dogs. Our company raises a lot of money for that. Also, maybe you've heard the name Karen Vaughn, Gold Star mother, author. She's a member of my company. So we have a very dedicated to veterans company. I think that that's fun. And the venue is so much fun. How did they ever get that dirt floor, though, so packed down? Man.
Incredible.
Yeah, they have it down pat, though. That's for sure.
They do. And the Stockyards is so much history. Now, when you say Stockyards, to some people in the nation, they're going to go, Stockyard smell. Well, this doesn't. It's historical. They know. Ain't no cows kept out there maybe a couple of longhorns.
Yeah, maybe you have a trail ride every day out there with the longhorns. So it is a little stinky sometimes. No.
Yeah, but not much. But you know what? Cowtown. Fort Worth is known as Cowtown. What Fort Worth is really not known for is being a military city and the Joint Reserve Base, the Carswell Joint Reserve Base. I don't know if you still keep the name Carswell in it or not, but I've done a lot of events.
Depends on who you talk to. It's the Navy. NAS Fort Worth JRB is the name of the base now, but it will always be Carswell to most of the community here since it's just been around a long time.
I know. I love Fort Worth, man. I grew up in Dallas, but I always loved to go to Fort Worth. And I got to tell you, when I was a kid, there was a deal in downtown called The Basement, and it's way too long ago for y'all, but we would all go over there and party till 4 and 5 in the morning and then stop someplace and have, I'm telling you, there's so much history in Fort Worth. Fort Worth is one of the most amazing cities, and what the Bass Brothers and the community has done is truly unbelievable, and with one of the best universities in the United States. And I think one of the best charities in the United States for veterans, and it's these two ladies. It's Airpower Foundation. So when we come back, we're going to talk more about that, and I want to talk about some of the participants and beneficiaries, that are absolutely tied in and do so much work in the community. So this is the Veterans Impact Show. We're here for you. Share this program. Get it out. Let people know. And then we're also going to tell you, if you want to come to Skyball, there's some hotel reservations we can get you. Welcome back, and thanks to our great sponsors, Fairway Independent Mortgage, Healing Thine Hearts Ministry, and Symbios Integrative Health. Now, let's get back to this conversation. Well, I got to tell you, we're getting close to talking about Skyball. Why don't we tease people, Wanda, and tell people a little bit about Skyball without giving it all away? Because if they want to come to Fort Worth, I mean, it's in Arlington. You can land at the DFW airport. You can land at a couple of other airports. Arlington's got an airport if you land your own plane. But it's a great venue, a great opportunity if you're a veteran to participate. And you talk about network, you're going to be there with Medal of Honor winners. You know, one of my favorite things is you got a wonderful old man that turned 100.
Yeah. Our friend Don Graves.
Friend Don Graves. And one year when we were there, I was with him and I did an interview and we videoed him singing the national anthem. So it was great. But tell us about Skyball.
So it's a big Skyball. We're going to be celebrating our birthdays, 250th birthdays for the Army, Navy, and Marines this year. So we're very much looking forward to that. It is a great celebration. So what Skyball is, it is bringing to the civilian population and to veterans and active duty, like you said, Medal of Honor recipients join us. Vietnam POWs from other wars, just so many heroes are there that night. But it's really those civilians that I really want to get there to learn about what we do and how they can help. So, speaking of a civilian, I'm a civilian. When I came to my first Skyball, I had no clue what this community was, right? Having a base here in town and just the needs. But over the years, I've learned that there are gaps, and it is our community that can help fill these gaps for our active serving here at the local bases or at the reserves and guards, but also those veterans. And Skyball, it takes you on a journey of all of that, right? The beneficiaries that we were able to help throughout the year, celebrating the birthday of the Army, Navy, and Marines, and getting to know the people at your table, the people in the room, networking. It's one of the best networking opportunities you're going to have with big businesses, small, medium businesses, veteran-owned businesses, whatever you're trying to do with your business, to be seen at Skyball and to be a part of that shows the community your respect and your honor and what you want to do with the veterans as well with your business. So it is a wonderful night. Every year, I believe it changes people's lives. I know it changed mine, and the stories I hear after Skyball every year about how humbled, how the stories that they heard, the people that they met, something happens in their heart, right? So because this will be our 23rd year to hold Skyball, and so many people have been there for 23 years. We've had volunteers be there 23 years, are still volunteering for us at Skyball. So it touches people.
Wanda, one of the years I was there, and I can't remember which one, you had the last surviving member of the 30 Seconds Over Tokyo, of the B-25 squadron that dropped the bombs in Tokyo. I can't, trying to.
Dick Cole?
Huh?
Dick Cole?
Yeah, I believe so. He was the co-pilot for the leader of that deal. And that was one of the most amazing ceremonies. So he was the last surviving one. They poured his glass of Cavassier, I believe it was.
Hennessy.
Yeah, Hennessy. And everybody, you had put bottles of that on every table.
Oh, yeah. That was a good year. Let me tell you.
It was
Everybody
a bad day
enjoyed
next
that.
But we got to celebrate, and I think that within that next year, he was gone.
Yes. Unfortunately, they turned his cup. That was their tradition, was when each of the people from that squadron, or from that whole squadron, I guess, they would turn their cups over, and he was the last one. So,
the Doolittle Raiders.
What an honor. We had at another event, it was Ross Perot Sr.'s last event that he'd ever gone to when he was with us, and it was so humbling to have him there, and then know that he was, that next February he had passed. So we do that a lot, right? With the people that we honor.
It's great. And it's not just Dallas. It's not just Fort Worth. It's really, you guys are nationwide as far as I'm concerned. Is that true? Am I right on that one?
Yeah, we touched programs out there all across our nation that impact the lives of the people in their communities as well. So, from supporting the Armed Forces YMCA is a good one that we've always done. They're a national organization, and they take care of our military families' child care needs. And so, they're all over, and their main headquarters is in Virginia, and they do great work, right? So just all sorts of different organizations that are impacted through the funds raised through Airpower Foundation are national and even international, and for our forward deployed folks that we send bags out to, and just taking care of their families at home, and making sure that they always get a little taste of Texas when they're forward deployed wherever they are.
Well, that's important because I'm part of Navy League Dallas, and we support ships overseas. One ship in Bahrain and one cutter down on the Gulf Coast. And it means a lot to those guys when they get care packages from the United States with things that they don't have. I remember when I was in Vietnam on aircraft carriers, my mother would send a care package every month or two. And one time she sent a care package with this cake tin. And it was all sealed up. And everybody was standing around, and I opened it, and Mother had made a rum cake and soaked that thing in rum. And I was the most popular guy on that aircraft carrier. Let me tell you, I didn't get very much of that one. But that is great what you do. Let's talk about just a second. You mentioned the Armed Forces YMCA. You do scholarships. Who do you do scholarships through or for?
So, like I said earlier, Junior ROTC is some of the great future leaders that we try to help with our scholarship program. We have a wonderful program that started a few years ago with our Rodeo Royalty, another future leader program that brings this next generation of future leaders to learn about our military and what they can do to help. And just talking to a whole different demographic too. So the young people will talk with one another about things, but they can talk a whole different way about it as well.
One of the things I think would be important is to tell the story. So Jordan, can you play that video that Wanda sent us? I would really appreciate that. So here we go with a story from an actual participant.
An estimated 22 men and women who've served in our military are dying in battle each day. It's not from a battle in the combat zone, rather a battle going on inside their own minds. Preventing suicide among U.S. veterans is a mission for one Fort Worth organization. Here's our J.D. Miles with their efforts to fight for those who fought for our country.
This was when I got back from Afghanistan.
When she joined the Marine Corps as a teenager, Kara Martin thought she had her career and future planned out.
I really enjoyed my time there. I was only 17 when I went in.
Her first years were spent building trust with her fellow Marines in a unit trained to believe in loyalty to each other above all. But when the young sergeant was sent to Afghanistan in 2011, Martin says that code was broken.
I endured a lot of sexual harassment in the military.
Harassment that she says escalated.
Some of my closest comrades, fellow Marines, were those responsible for sexually harassing me. And then ultimately, while I was on tour, I was sexually assaulted by one of my fellow Marines at night while I was on a forward operating base in Afghanistan.
It led Martin to forego her dream of a military career. The trauma that the mother of two who lives in Saginaw has dealt with since became overwhelming earlier this year.
Everybody around me would be better off if I wasn't here because I was damaged.
Why would you think that?
Because the people I trusted hurt me the most. I took a bunch of medication that was prescribed. I told everybody that I loved them and asked them to take care of my family. And I took them and just hoped that I wouldn't wake back up.
Martin became one of dozens of U.S. veterans who attempt suicide every day. An average of 22 a day die from suicide. Martin recovered from her attempt and got the help she needed from Airpower Foundation.
That's the first time that I've really received treatment, actually received treatment. That really helped me get through what I was going through and learn new coping skills.
The 36-year-old is now an advocate and will be taking part in Airpower Foundation's month-long Walk 22 event that starts on Sunday in Fort Worth. Of all the worthy resources and services that the nonprofit offers veterans, mental health treatment might be the most important and needed.
This has always been something that is kind of taboo, or it's always been in the dark, in the shadows, and we just really want to shine a light on it and make it okay to talk about.
You're proud of your Marine career.
I am. I'm very proud of it. I did not let the negative things that happened define me.
Martin says she's on a path of healing, but only because of the treatment she continues to receive.
They haven't just over and over again changed my life. They have ultimately saved my life.
In Saginaw, J.D. Miles, CBS News, Texas.
Airpower Foundation is going to launch Walk 22 this weekend. It is a fundraiser to walk 22 miles during the month of June to fight veteran suicide. A launch party is set for this Sunday in Fort Worth. For more information or to get involved, check out airpowerfoundation.org.
How about that? That is Airpower Foundation working for the entire community, saving lives and helping people. Some of the other things you do, the ROTC program, the Recovery Resource Council, the Robert Irvine Foundation. Is that a foundation full of good chicken fried steak and he's a great
Yes, for sure. But they also give away, we work with them every year to give away an iBot mobility device. So those are, again, life-changing gifts that we're able to raise funds for through our event called Skyball and Patriot Roundup. All of those funds go towards these events. We work with Caliber Collision and get the right people to receive the life-changing gift, to receive a car through their Recycled Ride program. And it's important because the Airpower Foundation has those relationships with the active duty bases, the reserve bases, to find those actively serving that are in need of these gifts, right? And then working through their command and the leadership there to be able to get to get them into their life-changing transportation gift.
And when you're talking about active duty and reserves, a lot of people don't know that this is a joint reserve base, but there are active duty components going on out there right now. BR-59 is a logistics squadron. It's both active duty and reserves. I've known the skippers of that for the last few years. I'm telling you, great, and they go all over the world. And you're there. I've been there at a Christmas party that you guys put on for them. I've been there at so many things that were done. And it really, really, really helps people out a whole lot. The other things you do, the Gold Star family, we were talking about that earlier, and I mentioned the Gold Star family, the children's Skyball, Small Express. Thank you, Diane. NAM POWs, American Mighty Warriors, Texas Rangers Foundation, Ben Hogan Foundation, Dave Reaver Foundation. Dave Reaver is an amazing Vietnam veteran. You do so much, again, nationwide. And military, the military YMCA, man, I never even heard of it. And now it's apparently all over the world and what they do to help out. So it's all of this comes together thanks to the leadership that you two ladies put together for Airpower Foundation. And the legacy that was started before you goes back. Wanda, doesn't it go back about 25 years?
Well, 1999 is when the Fort Worth Airpower Council formed the foundation to be able to raise the much needed funds to be able to give back more to our veteran community. And back then it was the morale and welfare events at the base that we still do today, and try to take care of those needs as well. When people, whether they're deploying or homecomings or whatever, we can bring them together and celebrate. And then, of course, be there with them when we say goodbye or farewell, and we'll see you soon. But then welcome them home. So it's all important for our community to see that, our community to understand. That's part of the education outreach part that we do. That there's kids out there that don't know. Some of their fellow students have parents that are gone, right? Or in the military. It's not just something kids talk about when they go to school. But if they're feeling down in a day, they miss their parent that's gone for a little while. Those are things these other young people need to be aware of. So we go out to schools, go visit them, talk to them, see, so there's always that conversation happening.
One of the things you guys do too that I'm aware of is that you do the swearing in ceremonies. You've been very, very involved in that. I'm especially proud of what you do with that because I'm involved with our community salutes, which we do a big thing for the high school graduates there in Fort Worth as well. And I think that's huge because you're taking these kids and walking them across the stage, giving them a challenge coin, giving them a certificate, and honoring them for going into the military. And I'm telling you, that's a huge thing. That is a big thing, especially for their families. And you guys are a part of that as well.
Yeah, we love doing that. We have joined forces with many rodeos now, with the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo, and now the American Rodeo. We bring military assets and different things so people can see in the community. We brought an oath enlistment to the veterans. Of the Veterans Parade in Arlington last year. And it really does inspire these young people to be the best they can be. They're already raising their hand, right? And being part of that small fraction of Americans that do that. But then to be honored and to be able to take that oath from a Medal of Honor recipient or someone, like that.
It is truly huge. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to take our last break. We'll be back in a minute with Wanda and Melissa. Wrapping up, Airpower Foundation. Go to airpowerfoundation.org, correct, ladies? And take a look. Donate, be a part. We're going to talk more with our call to action to join Airpower Foundation. This is Veterans Impact Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and thanks to our great sponsors, Fairway Independent Mortgage, Healing Thine Heart's Ministry, and Symbios Integrative Health. Now, let's get back to this conversation. Man, this is a fun conversation. This is so much fun. And I got to tell you, you wanted to go to the greatest event for the military and for veterans in the United States, look them up. Go to Skyball, especially if you live in Philadelphia or New Jersey, which is almost like a foreign country. Come to Texas. We'd love to have you for a weekend. And this is going to be at the Globe Life Park, and it's in Arlington, Texas, and it's in October, correct? What are the dates on that?
25th. It's Saturday, October 25th. So they can come for a nice long weekend. There's lots of stuff to do in the community. Skyball will be a wonderful event like we've talked about, but the new Medal of Honor Museum, National Medal of Honor Museum, has just opened up in Arlington as well. So while they're here for the weekend, they can go visit the museum.
Let me tell you, I've done 3 events now or 4 events there, and that is an amazing place. I've been working when we did events, so I haven't been into the museum. I haven't seen it yet. We're down there on the ground floor, but it's a fabulous place, and the people you're going to meet are amazing. It's amazing. Chris, who's the president of that, man, that guy was an astronaut. Can you believe that? And he's great. That's the kind of people we've got in Dallas-Fort Worth, and especially Fort Worth. I'm not slighting Dallas because we've got some business leaders like Ross Perot, but I'm telling you, Fort Worth is where the West begins. That's where the love begins in Texas, correct? Wouldn't you agree?
Mm-hmm.
And where did you come from, Melissa? You said,
Fort Worth.
oh, you grew up in Fort Worth? You knew
I did.
Oh, really? Where'd you go to high school?
Richland.
Oh, wow.
We're rebels.
Yeah.
You brought her back. Hey, that's great. And I bet you can sing that country western song, Fort Worth, I love you, right?
I don't know. I'm going to have to hear a little bit more of that, Jim, see what that's about.
But I don't think we're going to sing that today.
If I can stand next to somebody, I can sing. Otherwise, I can't remember the words, and I darn sure don't know what the key is. And I think that, though, we're just having a lot of fun. Again, I'd like for you to go. As a veteran, as military, as a civilian, you want to know more? If you want I think it's a great inspirational experience, go to Skyball. It's a tremendous opportunity. So you want to go to airpowerfoundation.org, correct? airpowerfoundation.org. If you got a telephone number that people can call, Melissa, what would be the telephone number to call? I know it's in the Airpower Foundation deal, and I can look it up here because I printed everything.
It's 817-682-0767.
Thank you. And you also need to know that a very good friend of mine, they mentioned several times about the rodeo princesses. Rex and Donna Snow are very close friends of Diane and I. Rex is an amazing human being. He was friends with Woody Williams, and they are doing that memorial that the Woody Williams Foundation is doing. Rex was also a Brownwater Navy, and he left the Navy and came back, and it was an officer. He was retired as a lieutenant commander. Wow, great people. And what they do with these young women to teach them not only rodeo skills, but life skills and what to do, I can't believe it, because I've been out there to the ranch all the time and met these girls. And matter of fact, one year at a Skyball, I was talking to a Navy captain, and he was by himself, and he was going to get a photograph by himself. And I walked up to him, and being my outgoing self, I said, "You look pretty lonely, dude." And he goes, "Yeah, my family's." I said, "Would you like to have a young lady join you on this podium to take the picture?" And he goes, "That'd be great." I said, "Which one you want?" And I pointed over to Don, and he goes, I don't want the one in red. You know what it turned out? She was his daughter's best friend.
Oh, that's small world.
Yeah. And I mean, that guy lit up like a flare. It was amazing. Amazing.
Meet there.
Yeah, you never know who you're going to meet. And I got to tell you, you want to go to Skyball. Now, if you're a business in a corporation, you want to participate in Skyball, and they can tell you how to become a sponsor and get a table as well. It's just too much fun. Now, on a future program, I have been promised that we're going to announce Skyball's entertainment. And let me tell you, the entertainment that I've seen in the past, fantastic. So just stick around. We're going to make an announcement, but not today. We're going to make it fun. Anything else you gals want to cover or anything else you want to leave us with?
I think one thing I would like to say is to all the veterans that are out there, if you're on the fence or you're not sure how you would fit in with Airpower, I just want to share something that was shared with me today. We had some individuals fly in from Virginia and Pennsylvania to our launch party at the Rhinestone for the walk yesterday. And I heard today that it was a loved one of someone who had committed suicide. That's why they came to this event. That she had been to several veteran events. She's been around a lot of organizations. She didn't know any of us, maybe a handful of people, but she said she never felt so loved in a room full of strangers. Mm-hmm. And that's Airpower. That's what we do. We wrap our arms around you. We bring you into our family, and we're going to help you and support you and have fun with you. And we want to hear your story.
Wanda, that's the way Fort Worth is, period. All my life, it's been that way. We really love it. Now, there's been a rivalry, but we can't compare, I think. And so many of the families and people that I know in Fort Worth, I love Fort Worth. And I love what Airpower Foundation is doing on a nationwide scale. Your Armed Forces YMCA, what a great idea. That's deeply needed. So thank you for all you do. I got to tell you, this is something you need to support. We're going to close with a prayer. And I just want to say thank you to Wanda and Melissa for Airpower Foundation, all you do. So Lord God, we thank you for people who are involved with Airpower Foundation, who lead Airpower Foundation, who support it, who are there financially, who are there physically, who bring all of the help that they can to be able to go. So thank you, dear God. Help us to bring this nation back together. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Lord God, and thank you, Wanda, and thank you, Melissa. This is Veterans Impact Show. Share us, join us, and be a part of what we do for you.